What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bullis Gotti back with another one. Well, this video right here is basically going to be talking about, if y'all didn't see it, Beanie Sigel interview on Memphis Bleak and his interview on $1 Million Worth of Game. Beanie Sigel, now if y'all know, Beanie Sigel is one of my favorite rappers. Beanie's been my favorite rapper since 1998. 99 when he first came on the scene, and I've been a Beans fan ever since. He's really the reason why I listen to Rockefeller, because I was a big Bad Boy. Like, if it wasn't Bad Boy growing up, if it wasn't Bad Boy, if it wasn't Rough Riders, and I liked that damn South shit. So if it wasn't No Limit or Cash Money came later, but I was a big Cash Money fan, and it wasn't Wu-Tang, I wasn't jagging it. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't a big Jay-Z fan. Like, I liked a couple of his records. Like, I didn't really started like listening to Jay until like really listening to him until like Volume 3. I think those were the only albums I had of Jay. No. I had Volume 3, I had Dynasty, and I had Best of Both Worlds. Those are only 3 albums I had of Jay-Z. And then I got Kingdom Come later. But I had it on my my iPad. I didn't really buy the album, and I had American Gangster. But me personally, I was just a big Beanie Sigel fan. Like Beans was just a dude that I just loved. Like, his delivery, his flow. Like, you feel, it's like when you listen to DMX, the same thing when you listen to Beans. Like, you feel the chills. Like, when I heard Beans on the Forever album, Puff, the Journey record, like when he said, yo, 94, I took the cops to war, like shit he was saying was like, damn, son, this boy is one of the illest wordplay wise, you know. And in my opinion, I just felt like if Beans was anywhere else, like if Beans went to Bad Boy, I think Beans would have had much better success. Like, or if he went to Rough Riders, he would have had better success. Or G-Unit. I just think Rockefeller didn't know, and it wasn't Dame's fault, it wasn't Big's fault. It was just who that machine was catered to. The machine was never catered to Beans and other rappers to flourish. It was catered to Jay-Z. It was created around Jay-Z. And that's why, like, Beans' albums never went platinum. You know, the only artist that ever touched platinum besides Jay-Z was Kanye and Cameron. Everybody else did not touch platinum status. Not even Bleak. Bleak was a gold nigga. He gold, and that was it. Beans, gold. Like, and the rest of them didn't even, I don't even think a lot of them ever went gold. That Freeway I know went gold. Young Guns I know went gold. You know, but yeah, it was, nobody was able to flourish over here. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was able to flourish. You know, they didn't want to put out Kanye album. Look how long it took for Kanye album. Kanye album was done. His album was supposed to drop in 2002. He had a car accident, re-recorded. Then they pushed it back in 03, and then they finally put it out in 04. Like, Cam had to take it to the streets to get his album released. Let's just keep it real. He had to do the mixtape routes, the K-Slays, and all that, the merch. He had to do so much things to get his album released. And the same thing with Kanye. He had to take money out of his own pocket to promote, because they was putting so much of the marketing and promotion on Jay-Z. And you heard Beans talk about it, how like his albums never got the full promotion. Like, Beans, like, his first album originally wasn't supposed to drop. I remember, I forgot the source issue it was, but I remember them promoting his album dropping October of 99, and they pushed it back till, I think, was it February or March of 2000? I forgot now, it's been so long, but I know they pushed his album back, all the way back. But his album was originally supposed to drop November 99. You know what I'm saying? And they never dropped it. And it was October or November 99. they never dropped it. They pushed it all the way back to 2000. And I never understood that. Same thing with the solution. You know, was the reason? Yeah, the truth I know was supposed to come out in 99. But the reason was supposed to come out. Solution was the other album. The reason was supposed to come out 2001. It was supposed to come out, I think, because that album didn't have a lot of promotion either. But I know it was supposed to come out way earlier, and they didn't promote that album. You know what I'm saying? And I think what happened was the album came a little bit like before or after the State Property soundtrack. Because State Property would dropped in 01. I think it was 01, 02. I think it was 01. State Property. Yeah, State Property dropped 01. But I know it coincided with the soundtrack. And I remember they didn't promote that album, man. You know, and that was an album that should have been marketed very well. You know, Becoming was another album that was supposed to drop in 03. They pushed the album all the way back. Feeling in the Air wasn't a Beanie Sigel record. That was a Black Rob record that was produced by Heavy D, and that was supposed to be on the Rob Report. But what happened was Black Rob went to jail, I think for the Source shit when he stole the jewels, and he wasn't able to put that record out, and it was on the mixtapes. So Beans did it and put it on the album. But that album was originally supposed to drop the same time they released the movie. The movie was supposed to come out, but they had pushed the movie back. The movie, I think, was originally supposed to drop in 04, and the movie dropped in 05. State Property. And the cover of that album is the State Property 2 cover. But the album was supposed to drop 2003. They pushed it back. Then Beans got locked up. Then they pushed it back again in 04. Then he came home. Then it dropped in 05. But it didn't. It had a little bit of promotion because they had the BET reality show that he had, the docu-series. It was a reality show. They did the same thing they did with Lil' Kim. They did with Beans and Irv Gotti too. They did with Beanie Sigel. He had this show on BET. And it coincided with it. But I wish they would have promoted that album more than they did. Because if they would have promoted that album could have went 5 times to 2. It could have went 2 to 3 times platinum, or it could have went 4 or 5 times platinum. Just off of the records that was on that album. We talking about a record with Snoop, produced by Pharrell, Change Gonna Come, Purple Rain, the Bun B, Look at Me Now. It was so many records that was like big records. Like that album was in my opinion was Bean's best body of work, and you could feel the pain. You could feel like where he was going with that album. Like you could feel he was entering another stage in his career just off of that album. But Prison and stuff like that crippled his career in my opinion. Because Beans was, in my opinion, he carried that Rockefeller. Like he was the one, he was that dude. Like you heard Bleak say, like, like Beans was not playing. You know what I'm saying? Like this nigga was beefing with any city he went in. He was getting to it. Like, I don't know if y'all remember the video where Beans was in Queens. He was performing and he got into a situation in Queens. Dude got shot in the club in Queens. He threw the mic at homie. The situation he had with the invaders out there in L.A. that was trying to run down on Jay. Like, there's so much stories that Beans was really a front liner for the Rock. And he just wasn't, he was mistreated. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I feel like he was mistreated. He was loyal by default. And I love that Beans keep the same energy. You know what I'm saying? Bleak gonna guess me in at the death, but the truth is the truth. The nigga called the police on the man. I don't care how niggas want to sugarcoat it. That's if a nigga is loyal to me, like how Beans was loyal to Jay, I'm in debt to that nigga for life. He talk all this about Bleak in his will, Bleak this, Bleak that. Cool. He from your hood. But Beans was really loyal. You know what I'm saying? And what Jay did was basically ate off of Beans, I would say, his authenticity and really his swag. And a lot of the Philly dudes swag, because it wasn't just Beans, it was Young Cribs, it was Freeway, it was all of them. You know what I'm saying? They helped out Jay during those Volume 3 years, you know, Dynasty years, Blueprint, you know, even the Blueprint 2. He absorbed all of that Philly energy that they was coming with, and he swagger jacked them. And he did them dudes dirty. Like, none of them, like, besides Young Guns and Freeway and Beans, who from that Philly camp really dropped the album? P. Crack never dropped the album. O'Milly never dropped the album. Oskino never dropped the album. Like, they never was able to drop any albums. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. They got, you know, love and admiration for him, but come on, the truth is the truth. I understand where Oskino comes from a lot of times, and the frustration, because, you know, they wasn't done a fair deal. And a lot of people get mad at Beans for picking Dane, but Dane was his man's. You know what I'm saying? He wrote, like, he felt that like Beans was shifting. You know what I'm saying? And Dane really fought for Beans. You know, Dane really fought for the Philly dude. He fell for all those dudes up there. You know what I'm saying? People like Jay didn't fight for them dudes. You know what I'm saying? Jay it was the Jay-Z show. Rockefeller was the Jay. That's why I could never say Rockefeller was the greatest rap label or camp, because who really flourished? Like, people talk about Puff, but yeah, it's some dudes that never dropped on Bad Boy. But there's dudes that dropped on Bad Boy that had success. Whether it was they didn't get the album success, but they still got success. And they still got shine. Jaden extended the shine to his artists. You know what I'm saying? And Beans was competition to Jay-Z. Because one, he was a better rapper than Jay-Z. Two, he was a way better storyteller. And three, the people felt him. He had the DMX effect, you know, the Tupac effect. His music was emotion. Jay just had a lot of braggadocious bravado. And that's what people like. But Beans was the dude that really like, and when you really look at it, you know, and I salute them for still giving Reek and Roller they flowers, because they was the ones that brought them to Rockefeller. And a lot of people don't know that originally, you know, they had ties with Bad Boy and Rockefeller, but Rockefeller, you know, they built a stronger alliance, and they brought them over there to Rockefeller Black Friday. But originally, before the Young Chris's and all them, it was originally Philly Most Wanted, Beanie Sigel, you know, Major Figures. That was the original, you know, crew that was going to be on Rockefeller. But Jay-Z didn't want Gilly the Kid. You know, he didn't want Gilly the Kid. He wanted Spado, he wanted Ab Lava, he wanted Dutch. He didn't want Gilly the Kid. And Gilly stood for his feet. He stood for his team, and he stood for everybody. And he dubbed the deal. And, you know, they later signed the Undies, you know, and, you know, they wasn't able to drop an album, but they signed the Undies, and, you know, Dutch and Spade signed the Interscope, but it didn't, you know, went anywhere. But, you know, they had good, like, ghostwriting careers. But, yeah, that was the original crew. But, like Beans was like, he was just different, man. In my opinion, I feel like Beans gave the street element to Philly. Like, because if you really look at it, before the Figures and Siegel it was Ram Squad. That was like the street element of Philly. And then after Ram Squad, there's Beans and Major Figures. And they all come out of that tree. You know, because everybody else that came out, like Cool C, Steady B, you know, Will Smith, Schoolie D, yeah, they had the element, but they wasn't talking like how Beans and them, they was talking. Like the way Beans and them was talking. Like, Beans was talking that talk, man. You know what I'm saying? Because at first, I didn't know Beans was in Philly until I saw the Truth video. No, it's till I heard the remix of Money Cash Hoes. I had seen Beans. I remember I seen Beans in the Hard Knock Life video. That's the first time I seen Beanie Sigel. And I heard the record Crew Love. And that was the joint where he bodied Bleak on there when he talked about the Monopoly. But Beans was like the heart and soul of Rockefeller, like the Kanyes, the Binks, the Just Blaze. Like he helped this formulate the sound of Rockefeller. Like you gotta give him his flowers on that. Like the tempo, like what Beans was spitting on, and what Beans was bringing to the rock was different. You know what I'm saying? And with him working with, you know, he worked with Nasheem, you know, on the first album. And I forgot who else he worked with on that first album. But I know Bink was on the first album. I know Kanye, and I know Just Blaze. They was on the first album. And he cultivated that style, and they was like over at the Bad Boy. They was Bad Boy, you know. They were like the second tier team, you know, of the Bad Boy conglomerate. You know what I'm saying? They was up there with like Easy LP and them, and Buck, you know, Buck Wild and them. So when Beans got them to come work with him, then Jay, you know, he started working with them on his he started working with Kanye and Bink and Just Blaze. But he started working with them after they did Sigel first album, because his third album he was working with Rock Wilder, you know, Swiss Beats. He worked with the Neptunes. No, he didn't work with the Neptunes on 3. He didn't work with them on 3. He worked with Timbaland. And he was working with Timbaland. That's who he was basically working with. And then he had Six Figure Digger did the Dope Man record, which they lied and said it was about the stabbing was about that. That's who he was working with. But when he got the Dynasty, that's when he started working with Bink. That's when he started working with Just Blaze. That's when he started working with Kanye. But it was off of the energy that Sigel was bringing off of the Truth. You know, so Sigel definitely is definitely an influencer for that company, man. And I just think they didn't do Beans right, man. I think they didn't do Beans right. I feel that Beans was mistreated, man. Like the way it ended, you know, and Beans still had loyalty. Like before the Powerhouse of 2009, Beans performed with Jay in '08. I remember them doing the show on MSN, because I watched it online. It was the I think it was the American Gangster. One of them. No. It was the tour with It was at Hammerstein Ballroom. That was what it was. And I remember him performing Ignorant Shit. You, Me, Him, and Her. They was on stage. '08. You know, he's in the Rock Boys video. So when Jay-Z turned into this whole new Jay-Z, the Blueprint 3 Jay-Z, the Frank Sinatra, Empire State of Mind Jay-Z, right? That he was portraying, Beans wasn't in that equation. So he flipped the script, and Beans, he did Beans dirty. You know what I mean? You have your assistant Carlene call the security, the police and the security to escort you out the building. That's crazy. This is a dude that put his life on the line for something that he thought was La Familia. You know, it's bad enough when the man wanted you to speak up for him when he was trying to get bail to come home. You know, you denied him. You know, left him in stuck. Any dude would have felt some type of way. You saw how Pac came home. You know, dudes left him in there for dead in jail, and nobody thought about, yo, let's go get Pac. It took Suge Knight to go. You know, and that's why Beans, like around that time, you know, he was rocking with 50, and a lot of the Philly dudes was more connected with 50, but Jay was blocking the 50 situation, which that would have been a great situation with Beans, because 50 and Beans, they would have sold records. You know what I'm saying? And we talking about '07, because 50 wanted them in '07. You know, same with Freeway. You know, but Jay he blocked it. He blocked the deal, and then by blocking the deal, you know, he had them over there, and he didn't promote Freeway last album. He didn't promote The Solution, Beans' last album on Def Jam and on Rockefeller. He didn't promote their albums. You know, so I can understand why he did that record, I Go Off. I'm not your average cat. I can understand why he did that. I can understand why he did the interview with Charlamagne the God, who now is the biggest Jay-Z fan. But back then, you know, Charlamagne the God did that interview, which got Charlamagne the God fired. That was one of Bean's best interviews. I don't know if you can still find it on the internet, but he vented about how he felt and how he felt dude. Like, he looked at dude as family. Like he said, yo, you had my mom on oxtails. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough. Like, I needed you to help me come home, and you basically denied. You basically try to, like, say no. Like, how can you say or do something like that? But what people gotta understand is Jay-Z is not a thorough dude like that. You know what I'm saying? He's just not that type of dude. So it's not surprising that he left Beans to hang. You know, it's not surprising that he did that to Beans. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of fucked up, because it was messed up, because Beans looked at him as a brother. He didn't look at him as a business, like an employee and a boss. You know what I'm saying? He thought, yo, we equals. You know, I'm a street nigga, you a street dude. But Jay showed he wasn't as street as Beans. You know, so it was kind of messed up. But, you know, Beans in a good space now in his life, man. He just wanted to have a like he said, I want to have a conversation with dude, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? Because any man would want to know, yo, why'd you said that? You know, and you know why you had them people remove me out the arena. It's questions that needed to be answered, and I hope Beans, you know, got the answers to the questions, because he deserved answers. You know what I'm saying? If somebody that I go that hard for, you know, and look, Kanye looked out for Beans. You know what I'm saying? You know, Kanye was more loyal to Beans, and I know Beans don't want to really talk about it, but Kanye was more loyal to Beans, and Dane was more loyal to Beans than Jay was loyal to Beans. You know what I'm saying? Beans saved these dudes' lives, man. He saved Jay-Z life on multiple occasions. From dudes trying to extort Jay to the situation in LA with the invaders, you know, to a whole lot of situations, bro. He really, like, saved that man, you know? And just like he saved, you know, Kanye when they tried to jack him at the Chelsea Diner. It was Beans that went full throttle. Because Beans, he come from a different cloth. He come from a real cloth. And, you know, when you in the street, you not the streets, but you portraying like you the streets, it makes it look crazy. And that's why, like, I respected Beanie Sigel more than the dudes. Like, you could tell, like, who was real and who was fake. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Jay just showed time and time again, like, he's just not a thorough individual. Just his movements and how he interact with people. Just look how he did Puff. You know, this is a dude that he done broke bread with, chopped it up with. It was supposed to be his mans. And the man said, no, we wasn't friends. They wasn't friends. They was just business associates. How you could call somebody a business associate, but you saying the man said, yo, you the only one that could call me thing. Like, come on. That's crazy. Only one that could call me Sean. And he basically just act like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But, hey, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how somebody could do people like that, man. But you gotta remember, that's how the game goes. You know, people say they the homies and then they not. You know, but you know, that's the industry.